Well, when I take notes, I wait for the professor to start, and generally they'll put their key idea on the board, and I always write that first so I can go back to it. I try to keep up with the professor and whatever their key points are, but I think part of the challenge is putting forth my own ideas as well. So they may have 2 or 3 bullet points, but I make sure I have 6 or 7. Um, Another thing I do is I take notes on all of my books as well, and I take notes in the margins, um, especially during lecture if we're going through a book or we're going through a key idea. Um, I'll make a point of writing at least 1 or 2 words, but preferably a sentence on each paragraph I read, and it'll just capture that key idea, particularly if it has like a keyword in bold. They'll sometimes do that. Anything like that. I try to capture those little things so that when I go back to study later again that night, I can just read my notes and I'll know what's key. Try to take those same notes with me to class so that when my professor starts hitting on those things, I know where they're at and I know what to hit on myself. Um, I know my favorite thing about lecture is getting the personality of the professor coming out and their excitement. And my notes can't ever capture that. But I get my own excitement going when I'm listening to them and I'm taking my own notes on whatever subject it is. So when I need to retain important information, I tend to go over my notes 3 or 4 times. Usually I'll write them the day of and then I'll wait. Never the same day, unless there's a test the next day. Never the same day. And I'll try to go back that weekend or a few days later, depending on when the class was. So if I have a Monday class, I'll try to go over them again before the Wednesday class and just sort of read what I wrote and read the portions of the book that hit on the lecture, because that's what's going to be on the test. And I just go over my notes then, and then I go over them again before whatever midterm or big test, because usually there'll be quizzes and then major tests. I try to hit on them in between each of those, and again before the final, if it's going to be a cumulative. If not, it depends on what I'm doing. If I'm writing a paper that has to do with those notes, I try to hit on them there. Um, a lot of the times I'll have my notes out whenever I'm studying, because what happened before is going to influence what we're learning now. So I think that sums it up.